Hey, Doug, did I ever tell you about that time when I met President Ballard? I was in the San Antonio mission and I was assistant to the president at the time. And so it was our job to pick up all the general authorities, apostles, mission presidents whenever they would come to town for conferences and meetings. So when we found out that he was going to be coming, because we were having this 11 mission wide kind of conference, all these mission presidents from 11 different missions, and that he was going to be kind of the main keynote speaker there, we were psyched. So my companion and I spent probably 12 hours cleaning the van before we went to pick him up because, he's an apostle. So we go to pick him up and I'm driving and I'm freaking out because I'm looking in the rearview mirror thinking, I can't believe that he's just sitting right there staring at me. So I'm like 3 and 9 and 55 miles an hour. We get to the hotel and we had made multiple trips to the airport that day and picked up all these different mission presidents. And one of them was actually my sister's mission president. She was serving at the same time as me. And so we'd pick them up, we would bring them in, they would get their luggage and basically go check in, go up to their room because there was still probably 4 hours before the conference was going to start. And so they were all tired, depending on how far away they'd been traveling from. And so one by one, that's what they ended up doing. Well, when we got President Ballard, he had been traveling from like South America. So he'd been traveling for probably 8 hours. So if anyone would have been exhausted, I would have thought it would have been him. So we're there at the San Antonio Marriott Riverwalk, and he's the last one. After we got them settled in, we went upstairs and sat down in these chairs. Well, where we were sitting, it was a glass partition, so you could look through and look down into the main foyer area of the hotel. But someone down there couldn't really see us because we were up so high. What was really, really interesting was that President Ballard's wife went up and went to take a nap. He didn't leave. He stood in the middle of the hotel lobby and greeted people as they came in. And I couldn't really hear what he was saying, but I was wondering, like, what is it that he's saying? And so I could tell by a few of the different interactions and the way some people kind of responded to him that it was something related to the gospel. He was down there for probably 2 hours. And just before the conference, we went down and he called me over and he pulled out a big stack of 3x5 cards in his pocket. And he said, Elder Kasparian, will you make sure that these get to the right places? And so there was a big chunk of them that needed to go to missionaries in different missions throughout the world. So I had to send them to Salt Lake. And there was probably 15 that were actually in our mission. And I was completely blown away. When you think of politicians and you think of people in positions of power, you think that they're really self-serving, that what they do when they're out of sight is selfish, is living the good life, right? That they don't really believe in what they say they believe. And so for me to see one of the apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, when no one was watching, when he was dog tired, standing in the middle of a hotel and witnessing to people about being an actual witness of Jesus Christ, that completely blew my mind. And I knew, at least at that point, that he believed in what he was saying. If you thought about, do the senior leadership of the church, do they really believe in what they believe? Yeah, they do. There's no question but that is a man who believed that he was called as a unique and special witness of Jesus Christ, and that his only job was to actually witness to people about that experience, to let them know that he knew, in a way differently than we all know, that Jesus is the Christ. And this was a person that didn't do it for any other reason but because that was his job. That was what he was called to do. And I knew that he believed that because you wouldn't act any other way. He could have easily gone up and went to sleep, but he didn't. And it was one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen. And it strengthened my testimony in ways I can't even articulate. He was an amazing man. And it gives you a special insight into the leaders of our church and what their testimonies really are all about, and how genuine and real and truthful they are about those things. And I just wanted to share that with you.